See, Laxmi Charities Trust, as we all know, they are on a successful.
I have a very fundamental question,
Sure.
right? And I'd like to play devil's advocate, partly to provoke, but also partly because I have a real question about.
We are there somewhere.
Point, we have a benefit. For them CSR, for them a technical content. For us, I am able to engage my student. For the student, it is a certificate, which will come back to the corporate to get the employment in the line that he or she is best.
See, we talked about giving money, scholarship, and then identifying the students, taking them to separate track of soft skills and certification for future. But in between, PALS programs are scaling the students for industry readiness.
Hi, I'm Rajesh, and I'm delighted to be hosting the second Laxmi Charities podcast, which is about collaborate, connect, and create change. Today we have for you two very interesting guests, Miss Alamelu, MSc in Industrial Management from IIT Madras. She did this after graduation in economics. She's spent a large part of her career in training people on statistical methods for various corporates. And she has a great passion for education and helping young people. What is very interesting about Ms. Alamelu is that I think it was 1980 that she qualified for the Indian Economic Service.
Yeah.
And essentially didn't feel it aligned fully with her life purpose. And which is she did something that very few people actually do. She gave it up and went on to pursue other things and then accomplished several things along the way. So that is the interesting tidbit about her. She was the co-founder and the first chairperson of PALS. And we'll tell you about PALS in a bit, but that's about Ms. Alamelu. The other equally interesting guest is Mr. C.N. Chandrasekran, graduated from IIT Madras. Then did a postgraduate diploma in computer sciences and applications. Right, he has 45 years of experience, and there's no way I'm going through all of that. But what is really interesting is in the 2 decades that he spent in computer sciences corporation, he spent some time grooming youngsters for corporate careers. Right, so the campus to corporate kind of setup. He spent time doing that, and that motivated him to be associated with something of this kind in subsequent years as well. And that's where we come to, once again, he's the current chairman of PALS. Both Laxmi Charities and PALS and several good foundations and organizations across the country are working on purpose-driven endeavor, which is around students and making sure that people with capability, young people with capability and initiative, but who don't have resources, don't have exposure, get access to it. That's like the overarching theme of what many of these foundations and organizations are doing. What we're going to talk about today is to try and see whether it makes sense for each of these foundations to go at it alone, or is there merit in collaborating? What are the benefits of collaborating, of working in a consortium, and what are the challenges of doing that? Both ways, it's worth exploring. And what does it do for finally the beneficiary, which is the student? And ultimately, if the purpose is to provide better access to resources and exposure to people who need it, then what is the best way to go about doing it in terms of collaboration? This is broadly the theme. I will shut up now and invite thoughts from both of you. But just to warm us up a little bit, maybe I'll start with you, Ms. Alamelu.
Thank you, Rajesh, for the introduction to me. If you talk of the word collaborate, I think PALS is one which has born out of collaboration altogether, right from day one. As IIT alumni who had been in business for so many years, each one of us have individually visited quite a few colleges and given our talk, given our mentorship, given our yarn, everything happened. And it was over a cup of coffee with a few of my colleagues where they said that we go, but what if we create a collaborative platform so that there is a theme the way we go and talk to the students. But what if we bring a theme to it? And that is how PALS was initially formed. And there were a few talks at what shape should PALS take. One is, should it be that we send people to the college to develop or give whatever additional or complementary facilities that should be there? But then we said that, shall we look at the small gaps which may be more qualitative in nature? Quantitative, it is, there are quite a few others also. But finding our vicinity, I mean, taking benefit of our vicinity to the Institute of Higher Education. So there were small gaps which we can fill up. Therefore, that way we started PALS. And initially, we'll go to the college and have only some lectures, motivational lectures, whether higher education, employment, going abroad. That is the way we did. But then it is our customers, our colleges, who said, "Sir, there are a few things which is beyond just giving motivational lectures or content. What if you connect us to the institutes? What if you connect us to the industry?" So IITM came forward to do that willingly, and we are extremely thankful for the collaboration, support, and advice given by IITM all these years.
So what you're saying is, what I'm taking away from what you're saying is really that one, PALS itself was born out of collaboration.
Yeah.
One. The second thing that you're talking of here is that it's do first what you can do. Look for the obvious gaps and plug them. Look for the low-hanging fruit, and that's where you're saying there's no need to. You may have a larger ambition, but you can start small.
Yeah.
All right. I think those are two things I'm taking away from what you said.
Yeah.
Sir, I also wanted to get your sense of what does this whole collaboration piece mean to you in the larger context. It's just what does it mean to you in the space of in the space that you're working in?
Thank you for the kind introduction to start with. So, just to add on to what Alamelu said, see, collaboration and partnership. If you see, the DNA of PALS itself is built on the partnership model. So, we know that we can't do everything ourselves, even though we are alumni fortunate to have education from IIT. As Alamelu said, we want to do something to the education system. So, we don't call our colleges customers, we call them as partner institutes. That's where the partnership starts. And we realize that we can't do everything ourselves. We have institute partners, IIT. We got eminent institutes as our partners. And we are ultimately making the students industry ready. Students are one of the partners. We have got student partners, faculty partners, institute partners. We call all of them partners. We don't call them customers. And we have the industry. We are taking the students to industry. And the institutions need industry collaboration. We call them industry partners. And we have a very vast alumni network. We call them as alumni partners. So the whole thing stands on a very, very elaborate partnership model. That is the paradigm on which PALS is built. That is the strong foundation for PALS. And we admit that it is not that PALS champions can do everything. We conceive the whole platform in a partnership model. We all come together. We call ourselves champions. We come together in a partnership model, give and take from each other. We got enormous amount of strength. We complement each other's strength, and the partnership is lying all over the place. The basic model of PALS is built on partnership. So that is the emphasis, and we are glad that organizations like Laxmi Charities and few others recognized what we are doing, and they partnered with us. While we are having what you call, if you call knowledge as the resource that we have, that we possess in the partner system, Laxmi Charities, with their philanthropy.
Could you elaborate a little bit on the partnership with Laxmi Charities? What has Laxmi Charities benefited from this whole thing? Would you like to talk a little through that?
See, Laxmi Charities Trust, as we all know, they are on a successful business built by they recognize that while they have the money, there's a underserved, underprivileged community in the country. There are children, first generation students, they want to be engineers, they are aspiring for higher education. They may not have the means to pay. And that recognition has come from the Laxmi Charities Trust. And they are willing to donate, they are willing to create scholarship for students and extend financial help that is needed for the student community in the country. And they, when they went to IIT and they said that they want to do this for a cause, they said, here is PALS. That's again a partnership. Here is PALS, which have access to so many students, so many institutions in various remote locations. They are having colleges in villages, towns, cities. I'm sure you'll have access to a lot of students. You can begin your charity there. And we got a notice sometime in the last week of February, and they said we have to finish everything by 31st March. We said, no, we have the method to this whole thing. We will actually access the, uh, you know, college institutions. We'll give you a list of students. Tell us the criteria. What is the criteria on which we will shortlist this? So merit come means the student should be meritorious. At the same time, the family should not have the means to fund education. So they came with a generous offer of 50,000 rupees every year for the students. They said that they will pay for 4 years. But this is the kind of criteria. The board examination, central board, state board, they gave us a list and annual income of so much, not exceeding this. So we quickly put into act a system by which we get the list from college, we shortlist it.
So you're saying that it enabled them to scale the number of students they could access for the purpose of providing
Exactly.
charity. Instantly scale because you had a network.
Yeah, that's an example of a partnership, right?
Is there anything else that you have done or plan to do with Laxmi Charities that you can discuss?
With regard to partnerships, one thing I want to stress. I don't think Lakshmi Charities are PALs. We're strategically thinking they should be aligned with each other. It is a long-standing trust we had with each other of the vision through which it is operating for so many years. So, we generally do not believe we must strategically move on a transaction mode to get a few things done. It is based on trust. So that way, there was trust that what comes from the students, what from the colleges, will be from not just the student, a good college also, who work towards the well-being of the student. Because PALS has a deep engagement on an annual basis with the college. Therefore, we know the ins and outs, how exactly they look at students, where exactly they are able to, where they suffer, so that we can give that gap filled in time. Therefore, it came very handy when Lakshmi Charities said we can help really needy. And we are too happy to introduce those of the colleges who were struggling with not so well-off students.
Can I chime in here, Alamelu? Can I chime in here to this? I think you are asking what more we can do with Laxmi Charities, right? So, see, while we are given the money, we want to provide care for those students who got the money. So, a couple of things are starting now. On your own initiative, you are starting training for soft skills for the students. They are from the underserved community. Another thing is complementing what PALS is doing. On the one hand, we are looking at the final year students for skilling them for placing, for interview and things like that. Whereas Laxmi Charities has actually, contacted the first year students. We are starting in the first year. First year, you're doing soft skills. In addition to that, PALS brings the technical, the engineering dimension to the whole thing. So what we are planning to do is skill the students on some of the emerging technology. Like it could be Amazon Web Service, it could be Microsoft certification, even NPTEL. If those who are there could be students who want to pursue beyond undergraduate studies, they want to go to postgraduate, they pursue research. NPTEL is a platform that IIT has got. Students can get more knowledge beyond the syllabus by going through NPTEL and getting certification. These are all very valuable. So what we want to propose to Laxmi Charities, can we take care of this about 300 students who have been given scholarship 24-25 academic year? Can we look at the students for some of the certification? We've got 4 years to go for the students. They got the scholarship in the first year. Now in the second year, they have completed the first semester in the second year. Can we, in the remaining 5-6 semesters they have, can we take them through a skilling path? So they're ready. That is actually industry ready. So you are complementing, you are becoming a partner for PAL's theme of industry ready. One more thing is, we had 51 colleges last year. Now we got 67 colleges. So 16 more colleges have added. There are so many 16 more colleges have students who will be eligible and meeting the merit cum means criteria. So we need to extend. If you are kind of board is okay to extend this scholarship to the first year students who joined this year, that would go a long way. We'll have a lot more students to go for this charity. That
So it's interesting. You're saying one, we can scale
Correct.
finding people who need this.
Correct.
Then there's a skill built up in Laxmi Charities in terms of screening for who's truly deserving, and both from a means point of view and a merit point of view. And then you're saying stay with that student
Yes.
through their journey over 4 years,
4 years.
to make sure they are more job ready, more current,
Yeah.
more updated. The college will do what it can,
Correct.
but there'll be a supplementary learning from the kind of things that PALS does.
Right.
And that's the way this is being seen, which is a very interesting construct.
Let me complete this last point. Okay, so we can create a talent pool continuously to make a student available for your industry, the industry which are coming under Sundaram group. So we can, this actually is a discussion sometime back in another TVS group, and it has been done on a very small scale locally in Madurai, but we can make it go beyond Madurai city and go to other locations wherever you got an industry under Sundaram group. We can have
You're saying
our
you can add
mature people.
corporates to the collaboration.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
how you are seeing this. So this is these are multiple players in.
I just want to add one more point here. See, it is one thing to tell your academic brilliance, but there are a few other things that a student or a young person should require once they enter the corporate. It can be soft skills, but soft skills we deliver, the student, some of them grab. And we should also ensure among the students the feeling that it is not an entitlement. They must work hard to get it. Therefore, in quite a few of our processes, whether it is a competition or whether it is a webinar, we insist that there are a few questions based on the webinar. In these online things, there is no audio, there is no video. We do not know whether the student is available or not.
Right.
The attendance is there, but availability is a question mark. But that cannot happen in a corporate setting.
Correct.
So to inculcate that, we in our own way, we discuss, we bring small things, which will be a Slido quiz, which is based on the lecture happening at that time. Unless you are there, available, spending the time and attention, you may not be able to answer that query. This is to ensure that the attitude is there to take up the responsibility. So the way we see to the students is one thing is skilling, but under skilling is the aptitude and attitude there. So that is one component which we will certainly be talking with the Laxmi Charities type of people. Okay, you give so much of facility, financial resources to them, train them, but shall we do independently? Because since we are engaged with the college on a longer term, we will find small things in the way we deliver things to see the attitude and aptitude also, which is not a question paper to be given to them and based on the answer we
Inculcate skills, knowledge, attitudes, and mindset.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the way you're.
yes.
This is the time to introduce PALS, Rajesh. I think this is, see, we talked about, giving money, scholarship, and then identifying the students, taking them a separate track of soft skills and certification for future. But in between, PALS programs are scaling the students for industry readiness. So while 2010, when this initiative of PALS started, we just had one program, which is just giving lectures on emerging technology. So the whole thing was that the syllabus is little behind what is required in the industry. So the industry experts were talking about the latest technology on actually artificial intelligence, IoT, and machine learning, data science, electric vehicles, and so on. But the college said, can you do something more beyond the lectures? Can we do some activity-based offering in PALS? So can you take us to industry? Can you give us competition? Can you give some project? Can you give problems to solve? Can we have creativity and innovation in your offering? So there's just a single offering lecture alone. Actually, we have added in a lot of them. 20 programs are there. So in addition to asking the students to get certification, we can make them attend the PALS program. So the PALS program gives all the other things that she mentioned, attitude to work. Now, when the students go to corporate, what you just mentioned about my experience in CSC, cadet to captain. In that journey of cadet to captain, we noticed that the students are not exposed to some of these things like working in a team, supporting each other, time management, being ethical, communication. So all our programs, we see the 20-odd programs that we have for students, they have this kind of things incorporated in the offering. For example, there's a program called Innova, which is innovation competition in PALS. It runs for about 9 months. We launched sometime in July, saying that this is the theme for this year. We don't say solve this problem or that problem. We say, okay, this is the theme for this year. So, for example, during pandemic, we say engineering a new normal. You under this theme, anything that you think of, anything day-to-day issues that you see in your community, in your society, think of a problem and provide a technical solution to that and write a paper on that. So first thing is to prepare a concept paper. Then that requires the communication skill, and we say five per person a team. So it's a teamwork. Then we say we have to give by this time. There's time management. There's a time-bound program. And then, okay, after concept and design, we shortlist a few people, go on to preparing a early prototype with the minimum usable features to show it to us. So there's a filtering there. Then we give feedback. Finally, they go for innovation Innova final.
It's great to see, you describe the evolution of PALS and the collaborative work you've done on this. I have a very fundamental question, right? And I'd like to play devil's advocate, partly to provoke, but also partly because I have a real question about this, right?
Certainly.
People who you spoke of, why organizations work together, because there's an alignment of purpose. They're trying to do something good for the same cohort of people. In your case, students. In some other organizations' case, if I talk about collaborations at large, there'll always be some higher purpose that you're trying to collaborate towards. And that drives some alignment, I accept. But people typically at the helm in foundations, organizations like this, very often are people with a career track record of accomplishment, success, and who are passionate, will have strong opinions, right? And then you're talking about working in conjunction with other people who have the same higher purpose, but have a completely different view on how things are to work. At 30,000 feet level, what you're saying, and great that it's worked for PALS and Laxmi Charities. This is a specific example, worked really well, very happy about it. But is this a blueprint for more such collaborations with other organizations? Is this practical? Will egos come in the way? Will different styles come in the way? How do you think this place looks messy to me in my head? Like,
See, actually, this is a typical question in social engineering sector. In a corporate, there is one objective. All of us are just trying to look at that.
probably one boss.
One boss.
One boss, yeah.
There is an economics. They say it is not out of the benevolence of the brewer or the butcher that the meat comes to the market. There is self-interest in all of us.
Correct.
Right. There is self-interest.
Right.
Let us agree. But what is my self-interest? It is because it gives a platform where I can express myself, be in touch with kids. That may help me to handle my son and daughter. That is the different story. But here we are, my 35 to 40 volunteers. All are IITians. They have done their work. They are coming back. So if there is to be one group who knows how to manage this route, each one with their own egos, very committed, it is our PALS group. None of us, it is a highly heterogeneous, none of us agree with each other, but nevertheless, we can come to a program execution and done it. So we have that experience.
What are the overarching methods that can work for anybody? It may have worked for you, that's great, but because for this podcast, the viewers and listeners, when they're thinking collaboration, this will come to their minds, right? So what works is the question.
What works? Because it should be built on trust. It is not a strategic.
What drives that?
The trust is, there is no hidden agenda in the other entity, number one. Number two, what they give as input. When we say, you have a bunch of 300, we will tell, don't make them feel entitled. Let them work to ensure that they deserve the scholarships given by that. How do you do it? We have a pattern to it. You will find it useful. We can review it at the end of every year to see whether to continue or not. So that type of give and take without trampling on the other's foot will certainly take us larger, because in this social engineering, the final result makes most of us happy.
Do you agree on with the collaborators saying, hey, this is what I will manage, this is what you will manage, and we stay out of each other's space? Or is there a lot of intersection? And if
Can
so,
I take this
how do you
question?
manage a difference of opinion? Basically, my question is, how do you manage a difference of
Let
opinion?
me go back to the previous thing you mentioned. See, fortunately, what has happened is the initial set of champions that we have, while we are from IIT alumni, we all belong to the one generation of graduating in late 70s to up to 90, about 20 years. I think things have remained changed, and this kind of agreement disagreement was a part of our life anyway in hostels. Okay, whether it is mess or common room or playing this music or that music, that has been actually there in our DNA. We have grown with that, so that is not personal. That is more professional. So we respect that. If a new person who has joined this year says, "Let us do this," we don't disregard it. But we tell him, let's take cautious step because we are responsible for what we are committed. Our vision is to augment and enhance engineering education in a 360-degree intervention mode, institution leadership, faculty, and student. And another thing that we are keeping in mind, see, IIT Madras is the mother institute. When whatever we do, the IIT Madras is underlying everywhere. There's a stream running, so that IIT Madras, whatever the reputation that it maintains, it should not be disturbed.
But there's a little nuance here, right? So the thing is this: you are talking about how you collaborate within your own setup, which itself is a collaboration. But let's, for instance, tomorrow I decide that I'm going to request to volunteer for work at PALS, right? And I ask, can you guys, before I get into it, I'm getting into my eyes open. I know what is the leadership structure. I know what you stand for. I know what work you guys do. I probably will do some homework on what you will do and what you will not do. And with my eyes open, I'm getting into it. And therefore, it's still possible to manage. Saying it is this thing. Now, there's PALS. Now there's another organization which is completely independent, that has not shared your journey, that has not shared your wins and losses, that there's no emotion attached to any of this. This is completely different, but serving the same purpose where you decide to collaborate, right? So here you spoke of skilling, attitudes, Laxmi Charities bringing in some of the funding and the methodology to screen. Let's say there's an additional angle. Let's say there's an organization that's excellent at placing students in good roles. They don't know you, you don't know them, but you see there's an opportunity. That's where I'm questioning whether this works.
I'll tell you something.
How will that
when
work?
Laxmi Charities wanted students to be selected, we were very clear. We do not want to collect money from Laxmi Charities and we distribute to our colleges. We will direct. This is a platform. They will come to you directly. We are not getting into other shoes at all.
So
we are not getting
you draw
into
lines clearly.
Yes.
You negotiate those lines properly.
Yes, it is not as if you gave me money, I know to whom to give. No, because we know you had been in this business for so long. You have a specific way of identifying the students. Now we tell, we have been in hand-holding the students for so long. So when you want to continue for the next year, please, you can give a few things to the students. But let us also have a few of our PALS program to find out their growth, their attitude and aptitude. And that is the way everything happens through discussions. We may not agree on the first meeting. Over 2-3 meetings, we will find. And this is a typical example. We said we do not want to handle the distribution of funds at all. We introduce, you make your own.
So everyone sticks to what their core strength is. That's the negotiation you do upfront, saying. So that's how you do
it. Maybe I can add to what she said. Actually, your question is, how do we incorporate more into PALS? Suppose somebody comes with for example,
my only question is, how do you deal with interpersonal issues, egos?
Right.
Because, and not in a bad way. I'm saying, frankly speaking, if you are accomplished and you are motivated by some mission or purpose, there's a very strong chance that you will have strong opinions.
Then
how do you that was the question.
And actually we know that you will be able to do a better disbursement of funds than us.
Yeah. No,
Right.
not only that, I think you said that if somebody comes with an offer to help with the placement of students or something like that, you
That
said.
is another angle. Saying
Yeah,
suppose
that's why I
they
was trying to
specialize
address
in
that part.
that,
That's
they
why.
specialize in that,
Yeah.
and they come and say, hey, let's work together.
Yeah.
How do you
Sure,
make this
definitely.
work?
We have incorporated. See, we have gone in our partner ecosystem. We have added such edutech partners also. See, for example, we said that this will be good, but we consciously we stayed out of skilling on the engineering area. We actually overlay the engineering. We leave the engineering skill, imparting engineering skill to the faculty. We don't want to take their job. In the classroom, let them do whatever required fundamental engineering. We overlay beyond that activity based learning, competition, all of that. Okay. In this, we have added a lot of partners to help with the. It is like if 1 plus 1 is 3, we'll add one more. One is pulse, one more. Like that, we added a lot of partners. I can give you a list of people.
I mean, I can give an example of what is called V labs or virtual labs.
Yes.
At the pandemic time, there were a lot of everybody could tackle how to give lectures online, but how will the students go to the lab and do lab work? So this is something which is available with the government of India for so long. All the IITs and some of the NITs are involved. One of our PhD scholar is heading NIT Surathkal. So he said, I will be able to impart. But there comes, they know typically a faculty development program. But then we sat, okay, the faculty development, even if you do 10 faculty development program over a 1 year time, it may be 30 faculty per session, 300 is the maximum you can incorporate that value. But how will you multiply it within the college? So we came with an idea, okay, you train 30 from 15 of my colleges. We will find a way how those two who learn from you is able to take to a larger audience within your college. And we made a small prize money for best uh, performing college. It is not huge money. It is only a certificate from the hands of IIT director.
So they're
And
playing for pride.
yes, playing for pride. And you will see they went out of the way. Only two departments might have attended, but they made it a point to talk to 100, 150 faculty within their college. And this, I mean, we will have some sample survey, whether it is really happened or it is a paperwork. So some of these additional ways to multiplier effect, which the faculty need not bother about that. They let them come and give the quality. Let us do the multiplication because we had been in corporates. So we bring that content into quite a few things that the
On
institutes
that
are.
note, question also that I'm curious about is it how realistic and in what ways can we collaborate with government? Any experience on that you have? Government related agencies, civil servants. Is there any room for collaboration anywhere there?
There are few, but let me try articulating what runs in my mind when you say government. Okay, during the pandemic time, we had a lot of virtual sessions. One of which was called Cares and Shares. Okay, so the Cares and Shares, we talk about Industry 4.0, we talk about cyber security. With that, why not career in civil service? So we brought government secretaries from government department from Tamil Nadu government. We requested, and I think there was a expectation that technical people should go to government service. Same time, IIT director also had similar feeling that more technical people should get into because if you take a larger global phenomena, India is there everywhere. But we have to scale up our visibility in the global, the innovation, like for example, DeepSeek that hit the world in December last year. We have not made such a huge wave in the international arena. So, can technical people get into the government service and then like some of our ministers are well regarded worldwide, so with the technical capability in the government we can scale up the whole nation. So the Cash and Shares was to talk about how engineering students can aspire for career in service, public service. That is one thing. Second thing is we interacted with Anna University. They said that you are going to private colleges. Can you extend the same thing called mini pals to government colleges? We did it in about 2 or 3 colleges, but again the pandemic intervened, but we couldn't start again. So the government is also watching us. Anna University is government run. They are calling us for some of their major events. Like recently, we had a Anna University incubator startup. I have not touched that part of PAL so far, but how we are scaling up all the way to startup and entrepreneurial space. PAL's programs are there as well, because nowadays students want to be job givers rather than job seekers. There are many other students, they don't want to go abroad, they don't want to join job in corporate, they want to create their own enterprise. That is a trend that we are noticing. So PAL said,
So you're partnering to support that also.
support that.
Yeah.
We have fortunately the IIT Madras Research Park successful, in startup ecosystem. We are getting support from IIT Madras Research Park. Not only there are various entities within IIT Madras, called Center for Innovation, Pravartak. All of them are supporting PALs. We are partnering with them. So partnership lies everywhere. So going back to the
And
initial.
collaboration, based on collaboration, there is lot of goodwill and benefit to the students also. We realize.
On that note, can you share any story of a beneficiary who's benefited from a collaborative exercise? Do you have any
as a
examples
case
you
study,
can
I
share?
can tell you it was 8-9 years before. We had our innovation competition, and somebody from down south had come to make electricity from banana peel. It was an idea, but none of us had any background to see whether how good or otherwise it is. The judge was there, the communication was very good, the team was built over quite a few people and all. It was very nice. Then we went to Murugappa Group. They have a Murugappa center just behind IIT in Taramani. And then they came and they tested and found that is a good product which can be developed. And then they took that project and helped that boy.
Oh, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
you're saying you didn't have the skills to assess, and so you just
Yeah.
leaned on whoever had.
Yes.
And
Right.
sorry, did that work for the student? Did they do something for
Well,
them?
now that you ask, we have not followed that up. I will make it a point to follow up and send you the case study, how it is today.
That's a good story, right?
Yeah, I will find out and tell. I mean, it may interest us as well as Murugappa Group. Yeah.
Yeah. So one other benefit I can quote here is, see, in IIT Research Park, they've got Energy Consortium. Energy Consortium is, today is all about energy. It's conserve energy,
Right.
So we approached them and they were very happy to collaborate with PALs. And they conducted a 6-part series, deep learning on, energy conservation. Okay. And one of our partner institution, Trichy, they were so excited. And the Energy Consortium, the team said that we can give internship to students also. They gave internship to about 6 students. And the it is basically how you can see energy consumption, mechanical device, electrical device, whatever you have at home or your hostel or whatever it is. These college students went back and they did an audit in their campus, in their actually place, in wherever they were studying, and they came up with a plan how to save energy. So they implemented what they learned from this energy consortium to save energy, and they're proud to when we interacted with the college. What would you exactly something similar to what you asked? We asked, what is the outcome? What is the benefit from any of the past program? They said we are proud to do this. That we save energy in our campus. Isn't it an outcome?
And that is that's
And
a good
again,
story.
one college from Rajapalayam, how exactly to remove in peanuts,
Hmm.
remove that stem and open the shell. It was something which happened here, and we connected them with the rural augmenting team of IIT Madras.
Yeah.
And then Pathamadai Pai,
Pathamadai
how
Pai.
to remove the inner
Grass.
stem
Mm.
in grass. So these are all typical rural area, and we in Chennai may not even know it goes through that process before it comes here. The students are, and those students are exposed, and sometimes we feel maybe I must have a larger pool of our alumni network to work on that. But eventually we may hit a century like Virat Kohli among our champions also maybe in the next couple of years.
See, now another thing about this Pathamada Pai is in much demand. but the industry, the not many next generation students, family members getting into it. So the people who are making Pattamada pie, they wanted technology intervention to sustain the business and grow the business. So we gave a technology solution. That way, that particular product which is in much demand, it continues to be available in the future also.
So since you talk of future, you've come so far, and I've been researching that different organizations, bodies, foundations which have similar purpose end up working together. All right, sometimes on an ad hoc basis, sometimes they partner for a 2 to 3 year period. Given everything else that's happening in the world, right? There's so much of new technology. There's so much of priorities are undergoing a change, right? What do you see if I was to take not a 1 2 year horizon, if I take a 5 to 10 year horizon, what do you see? Where do you see the room for collaborations which you aren't currently doing, which you think can help in the future? Just to open people's minds up to think about this, right? Where do you see this? You've done what you can, and you're doing a bunch of things, which is great, right? And it's great to get an idea and an insight into how you've approached this. Looking, into the future, what do you see that is not being done by anybody really today, but there is room for collaboration?
Think through it. One thing that strikes me quite well is not all colleges are at the same level. If we can create a cluster which is not actually competing with each other for the same bunch of students, the quality available in one cluster or one college in that cluster can be among the faculty, can be shared faculty. It is not as if only higher education institutes like IIT have quality people. We have quite a few colleges where highly academically brilliant and passionate faculty. If there is a way for them to be spread their wings, blow their wings, that is one way we can collaborate amongst our partner institute itself.
If I may add to that, in our continuous evolution of PALs, last year we did a major workshop for institutional eminence. So you can't, an institution cannot grow just by teaching subject and generating students. They have to go above and beyond that. And here, IIT Madras, they've been maintaining #1 rank in NARF for the last 7 8 years, and they were willing to share their journey to eminence. So we had a workshop. So we are transforming the institutions to go from the current level to next level, for which there are building blocks that IIT Madras has conceptualized. They're willing to share what are those building blocks. For example, research. You have to innovate teaching method. You have to internationalize. If you see the universities abroad are coming and setting up a campus here, in Indian universities are going outside India and setting up campuses. So internationalization and alumni support. So they have got some, building blocks, the method to go about. So definitely our engineering institutions have to scale up in eminence. They have to go eminent. They should be known very well in the international arena. If you ask me candidly, all this 30, 40 years, our campuses have been focusing only on infrastructure, make buildings, acquire land, creating campus, under the same name, ABC, go on creating campuses, but they are not actually look through this deeply to achieve eminence. That's where PALS is going to handhold some of our partner institutes we already taken a survey of what are the priority areas for our partner institutes. We are going to map over, since you talked about longer term 4 5 year plan. This aligns well with our long term strategic plan also, to make sure that we incorporate some offerings in PALS which will take them through a journey of eminence.
So you're talking here of technical augmentation and upskilling, so to speak, not only of the students but also of the institutions.
Yes, you take that.
We are basically B2B. And I will certainly come to organizations like Laxmi Charities, when you can ultimately the child grows based on the environment. The environment is provided by the institute, college where he or she is studying. So should you look at improving the institute also in a way, so that the money spent is on a fertile land for a better harvest.
Right.
The harvest need not be for us. The harvest will be for the individual self, which will make us to Viksit
You're
Bharat.
saying expand scope beyond, don't treat only the student as the beneficiary,
Right.
but also the partner institutions as beneficiaries in whatever way.
Right.
Work together with them to raise the overall standard. Interesting on the, because I was smiling now because of what you mentioned. I was listening to Sanjeev Sanyal, who's in the Economic Advisory Committee and an author. He talks of the way, and I don't know whether it's his thought or he's read about it somewhere, but he says the universities of the future. He says you have to decouple the various components that go into it. He says, why does it have to be a place that provides an excellent education and large space and, whatever, sports facilities and great hostels and like social
Fabric.
fabric, character building. He says, that's too much of an ask. All right. He says, today with technology, he says, you can have someone who provides exceptional knowledge, someone else who provides great teaching, because just because you have great research access and advanced knowledge doesn't mean it'll land very well with the student.
Right.
And he says, he says there will be institutions that solve the social and character building problem, which may be independent of a college. Why does it have to fit in all together? Which was an interesting thought. I mean, I think
process.
it's just it's more like an experimental thought is how it struck
No, it
me.
is not an experimental thought. It was actually, we had an EDC conclave a month before, where one of the senior professors was telling, you do not require a classroom to teach research, to teach subject, anything. But you require a space where they have to interact with each other.
Yes.
The interaction is reinforcing your knowledge. The reinforcement means that you know what you lack and what the other person has. And unless there is a team, we cannot build any product which will be useful for you, your college, your town, your city, your state, your country, and the world and the humankind in large.
So that's an interesting angle that you bring. So which with Gemini and Copilot and everything that exists, probably the students are not going to need standard teaching.
Yes.
That so much will be application and interaction and engagement based, and that's an interesting evolution that you foresee where your partner institutions can go.
Yes.
More than teaching, is now learning. Actually, all the courses are designed based on learning outcome. See, teaching is taken for granted. Either a human teacher can teach, or AI can teach, any tool can teach.
Would you then, if this is where you see your partner colleges playing out, would you then see a sort of backward integration towards touching the school system and people working with schooling so that they come in better prepared than they do? Is that a thought in your mind?
Lack of resources is one thing which stops
Partnerships is my point, right?
Yeah, partnerships.
Of course, we see as an individual, not as PALS, but as individual IIT alumni, we help a few Vidya Shakti, we get a few people to do, but under the PALS, we do not know. In fact, there is one project where they have learning through games is better than through books. So we have told that person, that is at school level, STEM education at school level. We have told them, you take our students as your ambassadors to take to a larger audience of school students. When you teach, you learn better. The teacher learns better. At least they must go prepared so that they are not telling something wrong to the final student. And for my students, for my college students, what we require is just a certification, because those go a long way. An internship or certification from a known organization will go a long way. So when you say, so if I have to go through the collaboration mode that we are having in this podcast, we are collaborating with an entity which has created games to teach STEM, to use our college students as their ambassadors to take a larger number of school children.
Let's add to that. Let me add to that. We started our conversation with students. Then we went to institute, next 5 years. Now here is an example, another collaboration where somebody who's actually addressing school students' education needs, especially again underserved schools, children and government schools and so on. They want to teach a science subject. So it's a pilot now. It has been done in other cities. Now they're coming to Chennai. IIT Madras is the
Campus.
playing ground for them. So there are going to be about maybe about 800 school students who are to be taught a subject. So this entity is doing that. To manage these students, 800 students, they're not able to manage. They said, pals, can you bring students from your colleges to manage them? We have identified 40 students to manage this 800 school students. They are in the second, third year of engineering colleges. What they will do is they will already games have been designed to teach subject, let's say chemistry. They're going to use games. So this is now found that if you give a game kind of platform to students, they learn better than rote teaching, teacher teaching. So this gaming platform is available. These 40 students of PALS Partner Institutes, what they will do is they will take this gaming platform and roll out to students in their neighborhood. They're coming from, let's say Rajapalayam, Trichy, Kumbakonam. So we have brought students from those places. They will go and use this gaming platform to teach this subject, say chemistry. Same gaming platform they can use to design how to teach maths, English, physics, and so on. And they can go and teach. This is going to be a long-term thing. It's going to be
Extremely
all
good supply
pervasive.
chain management.
Yes.
A corporate CSR spending to create a
So
STEM
this
content.
entity is going to teach this.
Finish that thought.
It's
Corporate
a
CSR
corporate CSR funding create a STEM-based activity schedule. Activity schedule created with the help of higher education institutes, with assistants and project coordinators and interns, taking it to other colleges, our rural colleges, making them teach the final beneficiary who are school students. So it may look that we are not directly working with school students, but
we are
at
there
this
somewhere.
point we have a benefit. For them CSR, for them a technical content. For us, I am able to engage my student. For the student, it is a certificate, which will come back to the corporate to get the employment in the line that he or she is best.
That's very well articulated.
Yes.
So the good thing about what both of you said is, apart from all the other entities, now you've looped in the beneficiary student also into this collaboration.
Exactly.
And I was talking to Shamla before this, and she was talking about how it's so important to involve the beneficiaries when they become alumni of all this and
Yes.
all of that. And the thing that I failed to ask her, but was there in my mind, you have answered now, which is, apart from feeling good or feeling morally obligated, what's in it for them? And that's what you have solved now.
Yes.
By saying that there's something in it for them also, apart from just saying that, oh, I must give back because I've been a beneficiary. That's a great motivation, but it can't only be that.
That can be only from corporates and our volunteers. But finally, they get trained, they are exposed, they will come and apply in your company. Yeah, I am very good in this. I did your CSR project. What if you give me my job?
So I'm going to now ask so this is great in terms of how your own journeys have been, how you've structured collaborations and all of that. My final leg is really a question around, if I'm not well established, but I have good intent, I have some thought on what I want to do. I've made a start. I've secured some funding. I have a cohort of beneficiaries that's somewhat aligned to others. But I don't have, say, perhaps like with the kind of experience that you have and the network you have, you manage to create this fairly quickly and scale it up. I don't have all of that, right? I have intent and I have sort of passion behind what I'm trying to do. How does such an entity or an individual seek out partnerships, and what is the forum? What is the first step? Where do they go? Because clearly they don't want to start building from scratch and doing everything. They should, you right at the start, you said fill gaps, which is I think an important thought for anyone doing anything new, right? Which is, you don't want to be solving problems that somebody else has already solved. You have to solve new problems. But even if I have that, how do they go about it?
You have correctly told, because you have the passion, you seem to be having an idea, and I will add, we also have a track record.
You
No,
have the track record,
we
but
have
the person who doesn't have the track record is what I want.
So the thing is, you must be a trustworthy partner, and you must be fairly financially independent. I mean, that makes a lot of difference. And you must be careful that whoever aligns with you is not coming with any specific agenda. They are aligned with the overall vision. These are some of the things which you have to I mean, there is
Yeah,
no
but
one size fits all
how
type.
do you find the right people in the first place? That's all I'm asking. Are there forums in which you all congregate? Are there things that you can become a member of? Because if you already have industry experience and you've done this, you have a network. So you guys clearly sort of your own alumni networks, your own work networks, you've tapped into all of that to do this.
Exactly,
Someone with a
Raj.
far limited network, how do they go about this?
If that person has the intention, we have the boilerplate template of PALs. We have the structure, what kind of structure we should have.
No, but PALS is an example for your space. Suppose they're working in a completely different space. Suppose they're working in healthcare.
I get your point.
They're working in healthcare. Then how do they get started?
See, actually, we are at an advantage at that because our contact is through our alumni network.
Correct.
And so far, we have sufficient number of alumni. And in most of the alumni groups, we just go tell.
Because I've seen people languishing at a very subscale level. They want to do good. You can see, they spend their weekends on it. They're doing, but the obvious thought is you can't do everything. That many other people have solved adjacent problems. You can get help, but how do you go about it?
You must have a mentor. For us, when I started, it looked like, okay,
So you need
five
to
of us
tap
go-
into someone who understands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It requires a mentorship. It requires a way of growth, a possibly realizable goal, and the growth path.
Ours is
what
an
you say?
education domain, right? So it is replicable to any other domain if the intent is very similar to what we have started. Basically, look at the future and augment the current students who are coming out of the system. And then, like she said, there should not be an agenda, any other agenda, commercial agenda behind this. Should be purely to service motto. If with that we can actually replicate our model.
And you require a mentor.
You require
Somebody who has done it, and they will be able to take you to the next step. I mean, we had sufficient mentors among our alumni
That is
community.
a start
Thanks to
point.
all
That is
our-
a start point.
Yes. Yeah. We need to
That
have
is very
mentors,
true.
It has been an absolute pleasure talking to both of you. Lots of learnings, and I like that you expressed yourself with great conviction and intensity, dare I say.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely, and this will be a high bar that you've set for the podcast, for subsequent podcasts to live up to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajesh, because it is very nice that Laxmi Charities was able to give us a stage where we can express ourselves. And thank you for making us feel very much at home. And as you triggered that passion, which we already have, to come out in our podcast.
Thank you, Rajesh, for this podcast opportunity. And we have been able to think and convince ourselves that we have, our path is on a very strong conviction. It all came naturally, we didn't know what is this going to be about today, but we are able to actually come out. And then I think it reaffirms our faith in PALS and what we are doing. And this is a great session that we had with you today.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Good day.